on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! It's a wrap. Game over.
Now, the game is not over. It's just getting started right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Man, what a day. It's kind of rainy here in Houston. It's a little chillier than it normally is, but I'm not knocking it because I know some of y'all are in the middle of some really, really bad situations as far as temperature and weather. The World Series got rained out last night in Philadelphia. They have an open air stadium, so when the rain kept going and then it stopped, there was more rain coming in the area, so there was no way to get it done. That World Series game is going to be rescheduled to tonight at 7:03 Central, 8:03 on the East Coast. Again, it will be the Philadelphia Phillies hosting the Houston Astros in Game 3 of the World Series. That series is tied at one each. Phillies took Game 1, Astros Game 2. We'll see who will take Game 3 tonight. So the schedule for the World Series, of course, has now changed. You have Game 3, hopefully tonight, Game 4 tomorrow on Wednesday, Game 5 on Thursday, no game on Game Friday. That'll be a travel day, and then Game 6 and 7 will be Saturday and Sunday, respectively, if necessary. And again, all those start times as of right now are at 7:03 Central and 8:03 on the East Coast, just a few minutes after the top of the hour. All right. It's Talk Your Team Tuesday. A lot to talk about from this week in football, NFL, college. A lot to talk about in baseball and basketball. And listen, I know there's some hockey fans out there. Y'all might want to talk about your stuff. We'll get it in if you want to. All right. Hit me up. 832-403-5005. 832-403-5005 if you want to talk your favorite team. You can also text me 832-403-5005 or email me AJ at KYOK. I'm saying KYOK because I had to call them earlier today, but AJ at JonesMediaandENT.com. AJ at JonesMediaandENT.com. Keith Hennig is on, so let me start with him. Tampa Bay. Wow. We already talked about it earlier, but Tampa Bay. What in the world is going on in Tampa Bay? They lost on Thursday night, 27-22. They're 3-5. And again, they're not out of it. But in the conference, they're a game behind, of all people, the Atlanta Falcons. I can tell you on my bingo card for the NFL, I did not at any time have the Atlanta Falcons in first place except for before the start of week 1. When the records were 0-0, that's the only time I thought, hey, man, Atlanta is going to be tied for first place or in first place. But as of right now, the way it stands with Marcus Mariota, come on, Marcus, at quarterback, the Atlanta Falcons are in first place in the NFC South. Tampa Bay is second, 3-5. The New Orleans Saints, after a big win, are 3-5, and the Carolina Panthers are 2-6. So a lot of talk about Tom Brady. Again, you know me, I'm not trying to get into personal matters. Tom Brady's divorce from Giselle has been made final. They released their statements. Now it's about getting his headspace out there on the field because they have some very glaring holes. That offensive line is far worse than many of us even imagine. That running game is far worse than many of us imagine. And oh yeah, by the way, if you can't run the ball, if you can't defend the quarterback, protect the quarterback, then you are going to have a hard time getting the ball to some capable wide receivers. And lastly, you cannot leave your defense out there all that time. You got to be able to go on some long drives, sustained drives, and see what happens there. Keith Hennig says, keep them in the same sentence as the Jags and Texans. No, I'm not doing that. Donna Coleman-Holman wants to talk about them boys. BS3, Ben Sutter III, he's a boys fan. He's a them boys fan. We'll talk about them as well. But, really just trying to figure out, I'm feeling bad for Todd Bowles because, again, this was by far his best shot as a head coach, to do something significant. Not saying that it's over or shot, but he's got to do some coaching. He's got to do some coaching. He's got to do some management of his staff, his team. He's got to figure out what to do with that offensive line. He's got to figure out how to get a spark in that running game. The trade deadline is today. Maybe there's some moves out there that they can make. Steve Nash got fired. Breaking news. Let me jump over to that real quick. All right, you obviously have better sources than I do because I don't have it on from my folks. But you know what? Yeah, got it. Steve Nash has been fired by the Brooklyn Nets. Says that they've agreed to part ways. We take a break and we try and get some details on that. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you got a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV, get that up on your streaming device, and then you'll be able to click on that. You'll see the live streams. You'll see the replay of the different podcasts. Man, I'm telling you, it's great programming. What's interesting is Shams Charania, and of course, Adrian Wojnarowski both tweeted it at the same time, but check it out. Here's how they did it. Wojnarowski said the Nets fired Steve Nash, sources tell the network. And Sham says Nets and head coach Steve Nash have agreed to part ways. I'm just bringing that up because normally when it's a certain culture, it's they parted ways. But baby, when it is a coach of color, if they fired him, They kicked him out of the office. Doc, they escorted him out. Whatever the worst of the worst can be. I know that people say, oh, here we go. We're race baiting now. No, I'm just telling you my experience. If that ain't your experience, good for you. But my experience is when it is a coach of color and they get let go, baby, they fired him. They escorted him out the building. It was all the deets. But yeah, it looks like Shams Charania is doing it the way that, it's normally done. Nets and head coach Steve Nash have agreed to part ways. So we'll see. Donna Coleman-Holman said they fired Stevie. Apparently they didn't like what they saw so far, and I cannot blame them. When I look at the current standings in the NBA in the East, it's way too early. I mean, we've got 76 games left to play. But right now, with 76 left to play, 15 teams in the Eastern Conference, the Brooklyn Nets are 12th at 2-5. 12th at 2-5. They are behind teams like Indiana, Charlotte, Chicago, Washington, the Knicks, Philly, Atlanta, Toronto, Boston, Cleveland, and Milwaukee. And I said this was going to be put up or shut up year for Brooklyn. Everybody. General manager, head coach, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Nim. I said that with all the crap that they went through off season, with all the drama, with all the, I ain't playing, trade me, I don't fire this guy, fire that guy. With all of that, I said this was going to be put up or shut up year for the entire Brooklyn Nets organization. So notice I haven't been getting into the anti-Semitic, stuff from Kyrie. I haven't been getting into, whatever Kevin's talking about. I'm looking at wins and losses. Because at the end of the day, the Brooklyn Nets are an NBA basketball franchise. They are a basketball team. They are not a social justice organization. They are not a Jewish supported organization. We love the Jewish nation. They're not that. They are an NBA team. They're a member of the association. So they got to win basketball games. They got to compete with Brooklyn. They got to compete with Boston. They got to compete with Golden State. They got to compete with Phoenix. And, oh, yeah, by the way, 7 games in, they're not doing it. So I'll be honest. I was no Steve Nash fan when they hired him. And, you know the reports. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving reportedly wanted him as their head coach when they decided to go to Brooklyn. So, what have you done for me lately? All off season, Kevin Durant, by the way, mainly was talking about not playing for Steve Nash. So we'll see. We'll see what they do from here. We'll see where it goes from here. Let me take another break. I'll be right back. Hit me up. Lots to talk about today. Talk Your Team Tuesday. 832-403-5005. 832-403-5005. Or email AJ@JonesMediaandENT.com. AJ@JonesMediaandENT.com. I want to hear your comments. All right, I see Ben Sutter III. We'll come back with these when we get back right after this on the lunch break.
This is a BS3 Network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Talk Monday.
Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central. there's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Doc, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Two of the best shows out there, and you can get them right there on the BS3 network. All you got to do is download BS3 TV on your ROKU streaming device. Download BS3 TV, and you can get Man Talk Monday. You can get The Forecast. You can get Queen 3 and King Podcast. You can get a whole lot of great stuff right there on the network. Changing the way you watch TV. All right. Is that what's happening, Donna? Donna, is that what's going to happen? I need to find out now. Hold on. Let me see. Because that's what I would do. I would do exactly what Donna Coleman-Holman said right there. I would do exactly what she said right there. I would. That's what I would do. I mean, they're going to do what they want to do, but this right here is what I would do right here. I would immediately call Mark Jackson and say, yo, you want it for the rest of the season, or do you want to just get it off the rip next season? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, Willie Gibson, man, listen, what's your Cash App again, bro? Let me send you that advertising dollars, bro, because you put one on the heart right there. Listen, back to this real quick. I would right now be like, yo, Mark, hey, Mark, it's the owner of Brooklyn, Dre, what's up? You good? What you doing? You see, we did a thing, Doc. We did a thing. Yeah, you watching? Are you watching Woj or are you watching Sharania? Which one? Because either one is, yeah. So really, we fired him and he quit. Same time. Like, we ain't really know him like that, so we had to made him do it same time. Fired him and he quit. Yeah. Nah, he ain't cry. He good. He ain't cry. Yeah. So listen, what you want to do? You coming through today? You got it for the rest of the year? Come on, Mark, quit playing. You got it for the rest. You the man. You got it for the rest of the year. Or you want to get it right off the rip next season? What you want to do? We're gonna do what you want to do because you the man. That's what I would do. I would be on him with just like that. I would quit playing with all these other assistants and all these other former players and all of that. And I would get a dude that has been blackballed by the NBA. I know there's all kinds of stories out there. I know that there's, he did this, he did that, he did the other. But listen, there's a whole bunch of people that did a whole lot of stuff. And for some reason, they can get other chances. But Mark Jackson can't get another chance. I don't get that. I'm the owner of the team. I'm calling Mark. Because Mark will know how to work with them guys. He'll know how to get right with KD and Kyrie. That's what I would do. They won't. I bet they won't. But that's what I would do. Just me. Talk Your Team Tuesday. Hit me up. 832-403-5005. 832-403-5005. Phone lines are wide open. JT just hit me up. It's like, who do you think the next coach will be? I already said I would want it to be Mark Jackson, but knowing them, they'll hire somebody in between. Now, what's interesting was, guess who was on that bench for a minute? Remember Mike D'Antoni was an assistant on that bench. I'm just saying. So we'll see. We'll see where they go from here. I don't know. Whatever they do from here on out is going to make a big difference, though. I don't know, because Brooklyn has some flaws. Brooklyn has some cracks and crevices, And ain't nobody scared of Brooklyn like maybe they thought that they should be, and like they were in the four. People have figured out you can let KD get his and beat the rest of the team. You can let KD go off and still win the game. So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be very interesting. All right, quick break, and I got to talk about them Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? We'll get that next right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
That pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents.
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets.
When the man said that Sharifa Barksdale is on the verge, she's getting ready to set the world record. And I lost concentration and I followed that hurdle. I was devastated.
Posición game ball de Canadá, dominando la prueba, y la estadounidense Sharifa Barksdale está en.
When I fell over that hurdle, it ended my career. And then all of a sudden, my coach grabs me by the throat. And I was going through some paperwork and seeing that he had spent 10 years in prison. And I was just like floored. It turned to domestic violence. I was terrified. So if I left, I don't know if I was going to die. My family didn't know if they was going to get a phone call to say that Sharifa was dead.
8910 radio, I said a vehicle took a shot at me. Southbound on East 95th.
Broke the U.S. record in the 400-meter hurdles. Represented the United States of America.
Imagine being on the biggest, fastest roller coaster that you have ever been on. That's the way my life was for 20 years.
I never had no trouble out of her being what she wanted to be. Because if this is what she wanted to be a runner, well, God bless her, and he did.
All right, we're still pitching that movie. To a couple of different production houses, movie houses. So look, if you do this, pray. If you believe in, that, do that. If you like positive energy, send all that towards The Last Hurdle, a true Olympian story, the life of Dr. Sharifa Barksdale, who was a true Olympian. So again, we are in the presentation phase, finished production, presentation, and hopefully we'll get that thing picked up and you'll be able to check it out soon. Okay. All right. Let me get back to it now. Keith Hinnick said the Dallas Cowboys are not the top team in the East anymore. You know what? If you ever wondered who has the power, look at Jerry Jones. What are you talking about? The fact that 31 other NFL owners did not have enough power to move the Dallas Cowboys to the NFC South or the NFC West when they realigned 4 teams in each North, South, East, and West. They didn't move the Cowboys. Cowboys ain't nowhere near the East. If Dallas is in the East, my name is Richard. My name is Ray Ray. My name is Timbuktu. If Dallas is anywhere near the East, I'm just telling you. It's the craziest thing in the world. The Dallas Cowboys are still in the NFC East should let you know how much power Jerry Jones has. Jerry said, we ain't going nowhere. We're going to play against the Giants. We're going to play against the Eagles. We're going to play against Washington. That's it. That's our division. You can do what you want with all them other divisions, but us, Giants, Eagles, Washington. Bam. They ain't talking about it no more either. Don, I agree with you. I think they need a grown, no-nonsense coach like Mark Jackson. I agree. I firmly agree. All right, going back to the Cowboys, another big win. How many have the Cowboys won in a row? What's their current win streak? Okay, they're not ripping them off, but they've won 6 out of their last 7. 6 out of their last 7. Their lone loss was to the Eagles in week 6, 26-17. And now they're currently riding a 2-game winning streak, 24-6 over Detroit and 49-29 over the Bears. And again, that game, Dak Prescott is back. Not wondering if he's back, is back. 21 completions out of 27 attempts, 250 yards passing, 9.3 yards per 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Oh, yeah, and he was also the second leading rusher with 34 yards in a day where they ran the ball for 200 as a team. They put up over 400 yards as a team, and they put up 49 points. Are we done with the Cooper Rush thing? It's good to know that you have a very capable backup quarterback. But don't make the mistake again of thinking that your backup is better than your starter. I'm tired of the folks with I can't throw people open. Oh, this is what I'm talking. If you send me another clip, if you call yourself a Cowboy fan and you send me another clip of what you're talking about with Dak unable to throw people open, I'm not slapping you. I'm slapping the delete button of your clip and your contact. I'm just slapping the delete button of your clip and your contact. Dak Prescott was 21 out of 27. How much more efficient do you need him to be? Threw for 250, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Let the man be great, please. I know y'all want anybody but Dak. I'm telling you, the favorite quarterback on anybody's team that's not playing well is the backup. You ought to be happy knowing that you got a capable backup should something happen to Dak. Cooper Rush can get the job done. But to be talking about Cooper Rush as the starter and how much better he is than Dak and what he can do that Dak can't do and da-da-da-da-da, there was no bigger supporter of Cooper Rush than Dak Prescott. Y'all missed that. Y'all missed that. Cowboy fans, y'all missed that. Was nobody dancing and hollering more for Cooper Rush on that sideline than Dak? Cowboys looking good, man. Cowboys looking good. Now the big talk is Tony Pollard should be the starter over Ezekiel Elliott, and Jerry Jones said we go as Ezekiel goes. We go as Ezekiel goes. Nobody can block, pick up the blitz, make plays like Ezekiel Elliott. Not knocking Tony Pollard. He can run. He gives you that breakaway, thunder and lightning kind of thing. He gives you that. But there's a whole lot that he cannot do and does not do well. Again, be happy that you got a Tony Pollard and an Ezekiel Elliott. Man, I tell you, that's why we can't have nice things. Good Lord. Folks will throw good stuff away so that they can get something that they think is better. And then when they find out it ain't better, the stuff that they really needed, they threw away. Donna Coleman-Holman said, thank you. Dak is a $200 million quarterback. One's a franchise quarterback. The other guy is the guy that backs up the franchise quarterback. It's as simple as that. So the Cowboys got their win, 49-29 over the Bears. Let me say one thing about the Bears before I get going. Justin Fields threw for 151, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But, man, I got to tell you, Eberflus has got to figure out how to not have Justin Fields running for his life every single game. Got to figure out how to protect. I mean, they got to build that line around their quarterback. They got to build that line around their quarterback, man. That guy, Justin Fields, is high IQ, great ability, a franchise quarterback who's running for his life. He can't do that all season long. So, again, big Big win for the Cowboys. All right, let me go back to some more of these games. Nope, I don't want to be that. All right. So again, Thursday night, Ravens over the Buccaneers, and Ravens picked up a nice linebacker. Before the trade deadline. Big time Floyd said, hello, AJ and the Breakers. Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft run the NFL. Roger simply follows orders. End of talk. I agree. Agree. That's what I'm saying. If you ever wonder about the power of Jerry Jones, just look at the fact that the Cowboys are in the NFC East and ain't nobody saying nothing about it. 31 other owners ain't saying nothing, but okay. Yes, sir. You got it. All right. So then Sunday, the Broncos beat the Jaguars in where were they? Were they in London? Y'all ready to leave Russ alone yet? Are y'all ready to leave Russ alone yet? Are we still talking about him working out on the way to the plane? I mean, on the way to the game on the plane. Were those jokes or were y'all for real? Were those jokes or y'all for real? Let's see. Willie Gibson said, how about Ime Udoka back to Brooklyn? He's available. Well, is he? Right now he's just suspended. He hasn't been terminated, right? Right now he's just living out the 1 year suspension. So I don't think that one can work yet. Now they'd be talking about trading and stuff like that, picks and all that, if they were to let Udoka go out of his contract and coach in Brooklyn. So I don't know though, but that bruh. Willie said yet. Yeah, Willie said yet. Man, again, I'm gonna leave that alone. There was so much that was running through my head. I could have just let it loose, but I didn't. Let me take a break. Let me get my mind back right. Willie threw me off with that one. We'll get my mind back right. I'll be right back right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Changing the way you watch TV. And how do you do that? You go to Roku, download BS3 TV. You'll see what I'm talking about. Go to Roku, download BS3 TV. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right. Let's get back to it. Got to get ready to wrap this up. This one's flying by, man. Again, Denver got the win over in London, 21-17. Russ played well. He had one interception, but again, he got sacked 3 times. I mean, that offensive line for Denver is as bad as that offensive line in Chicago. Both of them need line help. Both of those quarterbacks need help. Who that? Talking about beating those Saints. Definitely not the Las Vegas Raiders. My goodness. 24-0. And again, I can't be mad at Andy Dalton for the way he played at quarterback for the Saints. He managed the game appropriately, did not turn the ball over, had high completion percentage. Listen, I love Jameis Winston. But as long as those Saints are winning, as a fan, I'm a happy man. All right. They got the win 24-0 over the Raiders. Alvin Kamara has been mentioned in a lot of trade talks. And Alvin's like, man, stop the madness. I am a who dat till the day I die. Again, is business. If he gets traded, we understand. But Alvin Kamara is man, I'm trying to tell you, bro. He is a who dat. He is a who dat. So again, the Saints keeping pace with the leaders of the NFC South at 3-5. Pittsburgh got problems, the Eagles don't. That's the best way to put it. Pittsburgh has problems, the Eagles don't. I really hate to think that for the first time in his career, Mike Tomlin looks like he's going to have a losing season because they don't look good. With Kenny Pickett, they don't look good. With Mitchell Trubisky, they don't look good. And they ain't going to look good with Mason the Rudolph Redneck Reindeer. They just won't. They won't. They won't. Yeah, you know what, Donna? Donna, okay. Russell Westbrook looks great off the bench with 32 minutes with 32 minutes as starting minutes. The fact that Russ is willing to come off the bench and literally came off the bench and helped them get their first win. Again, I don't think Russ is the problem. I don't think Russ is the problem. You got a lot of guys missing shots on that team, and you see what they can do when they hit some shots. But it's easy to blame Russ. The commentators are blaming Russ. The sports aficionados are blaming Russ. The ESPNs, the first takes, the get ups. I can go on and on and on. They're blaming Russ, but I don't think the problem is Russ. I really don't. I think that's one of the most poorly constructed teams that you don't have somebody who's just a pure shooter. You don't have somebody that is just a pure playmaker. You got a bunch of kindas. I like what I see out of some of the pieces, but they got to make some moves to fill those other areas where the style that they're trying to play and work, and you got somebody that can knock down a shot and kind of open up the lanes and let LeBron do what LeBron does. They don't have that right now. They don't have that right now. And the problem is not Russ. What has Patrick Beverly been doing? What's PB been doing? Josh McDaniels is another coordinator who is not built to be a head coach. It's starting to look that way. But Mark Davis came out and said he's going to be their coach for a long time to come. We'll see how long that lasts. But again, great win for the Saints. Again, Eagles balling. Let me go ahead and give some love to a man that gets no love. Jalen Hurts. Remember, you can't teach accuracy. 19 for 28, 285, 4 touchdowns, and no INTs as a quarterback. Not a running back playing quarterback. Got to give love to Jalen Hurts. Absolutely love what he's doing with that team. Kenny Pickett, 25 for 38, $191, no touchdowns, 1 interception, average 5 yards. That's dink and dunk right there. He's becoming a dink and dunk specialist. Pittsburgh made a mistake with that quarterback room. And I'm just going to say that. I love Mike Tomlin, but I feel like he made a mistake with that quarterback room. Feel like he made that. Willie Gibson said, Pat Beverly out there tricking people. Just look at his stat line since he's been out there. You'll see what's up. Cole Sports, what's up? What's up? Big shout out to you, brother. Always. CJ Harden says, my Eagles are balling. Fly, Eagles, fly. Man, y'all going to come in here and probably break the scoreboard Thursday night. Y'all going to come in here and probably break the scoreboard Thursday night. I will be at that game Thursday night. Texans hosting the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. Y'all going to break the scoreboard that night. I want you to. I really do. Let's see. Big Time Floyd. Why the hate on Westbrook? The King approved the deal. It's never his fault. You know what, Big Time Floyd, I'm not going to go with you today. I'm not going to blame LeBron and take it off of Westbrook. All I'm saying is it should not all be on Westbrook. And the Stephen A. Smiths and all the people that just want to dog Westbrook and all that, I'm not with that. Cole Sparks asked for Mark Jackson being a head coach anywhere. Something tells me the Warriors ownership group is disallowing him from getting that head coaching job. I think you're right, and I think it's a travesty. I don't want to hear a doggone thing from a certain culture about cancel culture, because they do it all the time. They were they were the initiators of cancel culture. So I don't want to hear, this made up phrase and terminology when it's, when it's detrimental to them. They've been doing it all this time. Ergo, look at Mark Jackson. Look at Mark Jackson. Dude should be a head coach. Should have been a head coach. Should have been a head coach. British Swim School in Austin. I'll give love to Hertz. Reminds me of. Now listen. British Swim School, Austin. All right, I'm sorry. I kicked myself off. I did that. That was user error, not technical difficulties. British Swim School, Austin. I'll give love to Hertz. Reminds me of Culpepper. I loved Dante Culpepper. Loved him. Great dude. One of them dudes where I shook his hand and my hand disappeared in his. Loved. And they said that Dante had small hands, but I must have really small hands because my hand, was in a vice grip with his. So yeah. Good analogy. Good comparison. All right. Cole Sports said Courtney Harton, you should be happy about the maturation of Jalen Hurts at quarterback. He looks great. He really does. He really does. CJ Harden definitely loving the improvement of Jalen, because remember, you can't teach accuracy. I'm telling y'all, man, some of these people that we think are experts are not. Bill Polian was not the genius that I thought he was, because hell, he didn't win a god doggone thing without a guy named Peyton Manning. Give me Peyton Manning. I'll be an expert too. You know what I mean? What about local teams? I'll talk about them. Willie Gibson says Steelers trade wide receiver Chase Claypool to Chicago for 2023 second round pick. I appreciate that Chicago got Claypool. They needed offensive line help, because Claypool will be another guy that Justin Fields can't get the ball to because he won't have time to get it up. But again, happy that they picked up a very good weapon like Claypool. Man, I guess Pittsburgh is about to go through a rebuild. Coach Cole had a great coach on yesterday from Tuskegee. Yeah, Hall of Fame coach from yesterday out of Tuskegee women's basketball. Keith said, "Oops, yeah, that was me, Keith. I did that. What are the Texans gonna do? Lose by a lot on Thursday? Take a break. I'll be right back. Man, I hate it's going to go down the way it's going to go down. I hate it's going to go down the way it's going to go down Thursday. And, some people say, well, what about the upset? It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. It is not going to happen. All right, we'll be right back right after this on the lunch.
Discouragement, sorrow, distance. Your arguments cause damage to your family. The hurt leads to divorce. You feel like there is nowhere else to turn. But there is hope for you. That's where we come into play. There is an overcomer that lives inside of you. One ready to take on the world as you leap for joy, living in victory. You'll grow to love yourself and others. There's life after divorce, and you can claim it today. Get Over Divorce, where your new story begins here every Thursday on YouTube and Spreaker.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Talk about great programming in one place. That's what you get when you get BS3 TV. All you got to do is download from your Roku streaming device, BS3 TV. BS3 TV, download it from your Roku streaming device, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Just click it, man. Take you an evening and just click through. You're going to like everything you see. I promise you. All right, let's see what we got. Cole Sports. To your point, AJ, Polian said that Lamar Jackson was too small to play quarterback. Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson is the exact same size as Jackson, 6'3" and 215. I'm just going to tell you, man, I thought that Bill Polian could do no wrong. And then when they let him go and he started making all these, sport take comments, It's like, this dude don't know a god doggone thing. Like, he's got some old, and I'm not going to say old what, mixed in there with some sports, and it ain't good. It was not good. That whole deal with Lamar Jackson being a wide receiver, and Lamar said it best. You want me to switch to a position that I've never played in my life to enter into the NFL? No. And then with what he did with the AAF, I forget what the AAF stood for. Bill Polian was a part of that. So I got news for you. Bill Polian ain't who we thought he was. He ain't who we thought he was. All right, who else we got? Let me read. Y'all fired up today. I used the client's phone. That was me on Hertz. Okay, no problem. Yeah, that Jalen Hurts is balling. All right, Donna Coleman home and laughing. Donna laughing at me saying that they're going to lose by a lot. Oh, man, what's going on, man? Will the Browns have a quarterback problem? No. No, again, listen, on the lunch break, we're going to be mature and educated viewers and listeners. We know that just because a backup quarterback plays well doesn't mean that they got to replace a starter. It means that, man, we good. If we got a great starter, good. If we got a great backup, we real good. So whatever direction we got to go in, we got a great quarterback room. So no, they're not going. Although I'm glad to see Jacoby Brissett play extremely well last night, and I'm a Cincinnati Bengal fan, but I appreciated everything that Jacoby did last night. He managed that huddle. He managed that line of scrimmage, and he helped them win that game by a lot. I loved it. Cole Sports says Polian gets a ton of love for being the Colts GM in the 2000s, and before then, the Bills GM during the 1990s, but he comes across as antiquated. He is. Now, he don't come across as that. He is. He's very antiquated, and he still has some of those opinions and thoughts from back in those days. Yeah. AAF, Alliance of American. I used to drive up from here to cover the San Antonio Commanders for the AAF. Had a very great relationship with their media relations department. Had season credentials and all that before Bill Polian and them lied to our face, told us that the league had been funded for 3 seasons and they couldn't make it through one. So that should tell you who Bill Polian is. Lamar Jackson will be the MVP again. Amazing player. I agree. Willie said facts. Cole Haslam slid $230 million in Deshaun Watson's face, and Brissett knows, this is Deshaun's job, and I'm here to hold the spot until then. Yeah, no, it's no doubt about it. See, that's the part that I hate. People tried to make there be something between the backup quarterback and Dak Prescott in Dallas. Now they're trying to make something be between Jacoby and Deshaun in Cleveland. Man, these cats know. They know who's helping them read these offenses and defenses. They know who's helping them, get ready for the game when we ain't looking, when there's no cameras around. They know. They know. So, yeah, I don't think there's going to be any problems with Jacoby and with Deshaun, especially Jacoby knowing that when Deshaun can come back and play, it is against the Houston Texans. Man, the biggest cheerleader on that sideline on that night here in Houston will be Jacoby Brissett. He wants Deshaun to ball out that night against the Houston Texans. And I'll just leave it at that. Not talking legal stuff, not talking anything else. I'm just talking that man against his former team, period. Period, point blank. Period, point blank. All right, let me run through the rest of these. Titans, Texans, again, Malik Willis got a chance to start on threw the ball 10 times, and Malik said it best. Why throw it when they can't stop the run? Because, man, Derrick Henry, D-Henny, ran for 218, 2 touchdowns. I mean, the guy sitting next to me in the press box, I don't know his name. I should know his name, but I don't know his name. But the brother sitting next to me said, in warm-ups, he said, Henry's going to run for 200 today. And I'm thinking to myself, I mean, his first carry was like for 4 yards. I said, 4 down, 196 to go. He ended up running for 218, 219. Baby, I can't say nothing, but they beat the Texans 17-10. The Texans defense should have been prepared for Derrick Henry, knowing that, that they were going to have to, they didn't find out that day that Malik Willis was going to be the starting quarterback. They should have known and come up with something to stop him. They didn't, and they lost. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Davis Mills is not a QB1. Yet, may never be. I don't know. I don't care. But right now, Davis Mills is not a QB1. Davis Mills made some ugly throws. I'm talking about on short pass routes. He was throwing behind. He was throwing it in the ground. Stuff that people used to say about other quarterbacks, Davis Mills is doing. Throwing it in the ground, bouncing it to players, not reading defenses. He's not a QB1. And folks think that the Texans are going to fire Lovie Smith and Pep Hamilton. No, they're going to draft a quarterback, and they're going to let that quarterback compete for QB1 unless they can pick up one of these good free agents, that are out there. If they can pluck, the backup out of Dallas, or they can pluck, Jacoby Brissett, they may do that. But Davis Mills is not a QB1, and I'm not backing off of that. I don't care what any of my colleagues say. I don't care what any other person with check marks that they about to have to pay $20 a month for say. Davis Mills is not a QB1, and period. End of discussion. He's about to be a coach killer is what he's about to be. He's about to be a coach killer. All right. Keith Hennig, DW has a lot of rust. Texans may keep it close. All right. Okay. We'll see. I expect that scoreboard to be pinging like it was last night. People are complaining about Willis throwing the ball 10 times. Henry went for almost 220 on the ground. I would have told Malik to throw it less. I'm telling you. I mean, again, we're fans and we're commentators, and that we aren't in those locker rooms. We're not in those practices. We're not on those sidelines. They knew what they were doing. They did the right thing. They got the win. They're leading the AFC South. They're about to get people fired in Indianapolis. The Tennessee Titans are playing so well, they're about to get people fired in a whole nother franchise. So we can leave it at that. What else we got? I got to get ready to go, man. Davis Mills is a placeholder. I bet the Texans brass is praying for the opportunity to draft Bryce Young. Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Either one of those would be a great fit here in Texas, and they should be listed as QB1 coming in, and either Davis Mills is going to put up or shut up. And Keith, you're right. That might happen. They may make a move on Jimmy G. They might. Yeah, Indianapolis fired their OC this morning. So that's what I'm saying. With what Tennessee did with Malik Willis throwing the ball 10 times, it's got other teams firing their people. All right, y'all. Listen, I got to get ready to go. Tomorrow, I will announce the winner of the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. I will announce the standings. Again, you want to be in the top 6 so that you can compete for $500 cash at the end of the season. I'll also let you know how you can get your picks in this week so you can compete for $50, whether you've ever played or not. Cole, I want you to send your picks in too, man. I want to see what you got. All right? But as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There is nothing you can do about it except meet me here tomorrow for Winning Wednesday. Y'all take care, and we will talk soon. Y'all have a great one.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. Number 1. The future of affirmative action in higher education hangs in the balance as the Supreme Court heard arguments Monday over race-conscious admissions policies at 2 prestigious universities. The University of North Carolina, a public school, and private institution, Harvard University. During arguments in the first of the 2 cases, the court sounded split along ideological lines on the issue of affirmative action. The Supreme Court has twice upheld race-conscious college admissions programs in the past 19 years, including just 6 years ago. Number 2. The Reverend Calvin Butts III, who fought poverty and racism and skillfully navigated New York's power structure as pastor of Harlem's historic Abyssinian Baptist Church, died Friday at the age of 73. Reverend Butts began serving as a youth minister at Abyssinian in 1972 and was senior pastor there for more than 30 years. New York Governor Kathy Hochul called Pastor Butts a force for moral clarity, a voice for his Harlem community, a counselor to so many of us in public service. His survivors include his wife, Patricia, 3 children, and 6 grandchildren. Number 3. Workers who assemble Apple's newest iPhone walked away from a factory in central China following virus outbreaks and complaints of unsafe working conditions. It's highlighting the clash between the disease's enduring risk and efforts to restore the global flow of goods. As other countries ease antivirus curbs, exporters in China are trying to fill orders while coping with a zero-COVID strategy that abruptly shuts down cities for a week or longer to contain the outbreaks. Number 4, a former police officer already in prison for one fatal shooting in a wealthy San Francisco suburb will not face criminal charges in a second slaying, this one of a homeless black man who asked the officer to kill him during a 30-second confrontation. Contra Costa, California District Attorney Diana Becton said she will not seek to try former Danville officer Andrew Hall in the death of Tyrell Wilson. The white former policeman is already serving a 6-year prison sentence in the fatal shooting in 2018 of Vladimir Arboleda during a slow-speed police chase. Hall was convicted last year of assault with a firearm for firing into the vehicle as it passed by him. Number 5, according to a Government Accountability Office report, IRS audit rates are historically low, but that's little consolation if your return is among those selected to be examined. That's why proper preparation and planning is so important. Certain types of deductions may be questioned by the IRS because they are strict record-keeping requirements for them. For example, auto and travel expense deductions. Read more about it in today's newsletter brought to you by Texas CPA Katrina M. Kraft. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. To be empowered is to understand that you can do whatever you put your mind to do. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedian, the one and only Damon Williams, and contributor Cameron Riley as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Black Voters Matter and HBCU Go TV. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.